What is up, everybody? Chris, the Dice DJ here on Casino Gaming TV with my co-host Ian, Mr. Double Deuce. How are we this evening?
Oh, living a dream, man, out here in Seattle, getting ready to head to Phoenix for the Super Bowl. First time in 27
I'm
years we won't be in
jealous.
Vegas. Crazy. Crazy. I mean, I haven't been, my host in Vegas pinged me and said, "Hey, we have rooms now." I thought, yeah, that's because they were charging. I haven't paid for a room in 27 years, and they were charging 1,500, 2,500, and 1,200 for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Harris. Like, no
Yeah, it
way.
was insane. I saw like even the Motel 6 was up to like 500. Like, I mean, what are you gonna you're paying 500 to what, get some bed bugs and maybe HIV? Like, geez.
No thanks. I mean, that's not even fair to charge that kind of money. Now it's funny because now they're like, "Oh, we can comp you. We can get you Saturday for $100." And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, whatever. So
It's kind of cool that the Super Bowl's in Vegas. Great party town, obviously, right? Great town to have the Super Bowl. They did the same thing though with the F1, right? They
yeah,
shot prices up real quick, right? And they quickly realized, hey, nobody's booking this. So then they got to drop prices. I wouldn't be shocked, if you see some real cheap rooms going up on sale, like throughout the rest of this week, just to try to get some people in there.
yep,
Um, I know I got a couple offers from Caesars in the inbox this morning. Similar thing, like comping me Friday, Saturday. I'd have to pay for Sunday or whatever. And I was like, that's great and all, but I would not want to be there. God forbid what the table minimums are going to be at those casinos on the Strip. I can't even imagine.
yeah. I mean, they've got to be, at a minimum of $25 a piece. Maybe if you go downtown, you might get 15, but on the Strip, no way. You know what I mean? Everybody that I know that lives in Vegas is getting out of town, just like they did for Formula One.
I
It's
don't
like,
blame them.
dude,
I mean, idea for anybody in Vegas who is watching this and wants a last second idea from the DGen, put your house up on Airbnb. Do something, get out of there. I mean, why not? You'd have your weekend paid for and plus some. But we're not here to talk about. Well, I guess we'll be talking about Vegas because that's where the Super Bowl is. But I'm not going to talk about the Strip and all that kind of garbage because we're here to talk about football. And
love that.
Joe Ramus is ready for us to talk about football. He's got his soda, his pen and paper for the analysis on the past two games and this week. Joseph, how are you? I hope you're doing well, my friend. We're ready to give our analysis, right? So, um, we are going to go into it first. Quickly, though. All right, Ian, I got to tell you, you already said you're going to be in Phoenix. Let the people at home know what you're doing, and then I'm going to let them know how jealous I am of what you're doing this weekend.
You bet, you bet. Well, we fly in tomorrow morning, and then we're staying out in Scottsdale. Uh, it's crazy to find a room, as you can imagine, with the waste management being there this week, and then it is dumping rain. I don't know if anyone was watching today. Chris was saying that it was hailing on 16 earlier. But so we're going to play, I think it's called Acatello, something like that. Hey, John. And then on Friday, Saturday morning, we're going to get up. We got free tickets to go to the tournament. So we're going to, me and a couple of my buddies are going to go to the tournament. And then Sunday morning, we're going to go play Raven, which is probably going to kick my butt on that course. I didn't play well on Thursday or last Friday and Saturday, but and then go watch the game, and then Sunday get up and play another course. I mean, get up on Monday, play another course, and then fly back. So it's boys' weekend. We get it once a year, so we try to enjoy it. Gonna try to get in a little casino action as well. Either it'll be Talking Stick or maybe Harris or something like that. I don't know yet. Depends on one guy's staying out in Goodyear and we're staying in Scottsdale, so we'll see what happens. So looking forward to it though.
Nice. Yes, I am. I'm jealous. For anyone who doesn't know, the Waste Management is a golf tournament, very big golf tournament. Um, and Ian and I are obviously both golfers, so I am very jealous. It's a bucket list event for me to attend. So yeah, but I will be at Casa de la Degen, chefing it up and watching the game with some people, having a good time, hopefully, and looking forward to the game. But before we get to the game, let us talk about how we arrived at said game, right? So obviously, you guys know me at this point. Playoff bracket looks a little something like this. All right, so not last weekend's game, I guess 2 weeks ago, right? 2 weeks ago, I can't say we're surprised by the results, right? Not terribly surprising. Unfortunately, I did have the wrong pick in both games, with the exception of Detroit. I said I love them on the spread. I did money line them as well, but we'll get to that game second because I think that game is a lot more important to talk about than the first game. Baltimore and Kansas City. This game disappointed me beyond belief. Okay. Here's why. I know you took Kansas City, right? And I would never go against Andy Reid, Spagnuolo, and those guys. However, I watched Buffalo run all over Kansas City with Josh Allen and James Cook. Figured Baltimore's going to run all over this team, and the game's not even going to be really that close, right? Because a rushing offense just sucks time off the clock. They're going to get their stuff done. Boy, was I wrong. I'm not sure who the coaches for Baltimore saw this week. I don't know if they took a page out of the Eagles playbook. I don't know what they did, but they decided to abandon the number one rushing offense in the league and try to make Lamar throw the ball, which is idiotic, if you ask me. Idiotic beyond belief. I sat dumbfounded on my couch watching that game, right? I mean, the Ravens passing offense, 21st in the league. 21st.
Yeah.
Your rushing offense is the best rushing offense in the league. And what did you do? You passed the ball against the Chiefs. I think, Lamar had 8 rushes, I think, the whole game. A couple of them were minimal scrambles, whatever. Their 2 running backs combined for 6 rushes throughout the entire game. And what's his name? Flowers had 2 rushes as well, right? I mean, you're telling me that you're going to rush the ball like 14 times and throw it 40 times? If I would have known that was going to happen, I would have put the rest of my mortgage payment on Kansas City. I was extremely disappointed. What'd you see there?
Well, which is stupid, right? They did exactly what Kansas City hoped they would do. Kansas City's secondary is elite, and I agree with you. The week before, they got ran, and so you're thinking Baltimore's got to get in and do this. But I couldn't believe how many times he had that. They had a chance to run, and he threw the ball. I mean, nobody's gonna. It's so tough to catch him when he's scrambling outside of the box. Just run. But, Kansas City just put a hurting on him. Let's be honest. They just came out and said, Kelsey looked like Kelsey 10 years ago. How young.
Yeah.
That one catch back across his body for the first down when Mahomes scrambled right up to the line. What a great catch, man. And, Kelsey just, we're not even going to say the word, right? But to totally take that off of the plate and just watch him play football was fun. And then, just seeing him be able to play like we know he can. I mean, I had him in 2 fantasy leagues this year, and there wasn't a whole lot coming from a guy who was a number 1 pick or number 2 pick in one league. But, Patty Mahomes, right? I just, and to see, catches made by guys, it's like, how the heck they make that catch? You know what I mean? It was just one of those things where I think you get back, but why did you run the ball more with Gus Edwards? I'm sure they're asking themselves that constantly, I'm sure they're going back to the drawing board. Well, in Mike McDonald, we ended up picking, the Seahawks ended up picking Mike McDonald up right after that. There was a lot of questions in the Seattle media. It's like, well, wait a minute, they just got blown out. Why do we want to bring him in? Well, he's 36 and, seems to be one of those transcendental, DCs. We're going to see what's going to happen. But, man, what a colossal collapse by Baltimore.
100%. I mean, like, going into these games, right? I'm not sure what goes through some of these coaches' heads, but like you would think I know they want to get a little like fancy and a little creative and whatever, but you're sitting here thinking, what's worked for you all season long? The run.
Yeah.
The run has worked for you all season long, and you completely abandoned it. And then, I mean, I think the Chiefs played great. I'm not taking anything away from them. They played a great game, and I'm going to touch on that in a second. But just for the fact that Baltimore just completely took their playbook, lit it on fire, and we're like, we're going to become a passing team. Well, good luck with that, because Lamar is not a passing quarterback. He can throw the
Yeah.
ball, but no, he's not a passing quarterback. All right. You already mentioned it, Kelsey. He had some beautiful catches, right? You said the one that he had to go across his body behind him to catch it. How about that diving catch that he had on the same drive? That diving catch was gorgeous. And then, their team stepped up, right? Marquez Valdez-Scantling hasn't been around the entire season. He's dropping balls all year long. He made the biggest catch in the Kansas City postseason, right? Iced the game away and made the biggest catch of pretty much their entire postseason up until this point, right? And Kelsey, you got to give him a ton of props, right? He passed Jerry Rice for the most playoff receptions. Kudos to him. I mean, that was our lock last week was Kelsey over 5.5 receptions. That line was a joke. He had 6 in I think 3 minutes into the second quarter or something. Ended the game with double digits. I mean, I don't know what they were seeing with that line, but I know you and I were seeing something different, and we saw. I can tell you that.
Sure.
But yeah, tough to go against. Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo, and how great that Chiefs team is coached. But when you're going to hand it to them, I mean, damn, right on a silver platter. Didn't even make them really try that hard, let's be honest. I mean, Baltimore wasn't really in that game ever. And I thought maybe they'd come back and, do a little bit. And then, you had the Zay Flowers dumbass penalty. Now, I do have a couple issues with that penalty
And the
being
fumble.
called.
Don't forget the fumble, too. Zay Flowers'
I was
fumble
going to
was
get there.
at a critical time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That fumble was brutal. But I know he's a young guy. You got to have a better head on your shoulders, though, than to sit there, drop the ball on the DB, and flex on him like that. You already know it's a 15-yard penalty. Knocked you out. You were on the 5-yard line. Now you're on the 20-yard line. Stupid. And then they ended up kicking a field goal after that, right? Not good for them. Then the fumble, brutal, right? That basically iced the game away with that fumble. I said I had a problem with the flexing thing, right? I hate going back to the referees and stuff, but it's a penalty all day long. I just wish they would call a little bit more both ways, because Travis Kelce, as great of a game as he did have, was such an antagonist on the field, and he had multiple penalties called when he started something and somebody else did it, right? I forget the guy's name, number 50 on Baltimore's defense, right? Hit him. After Kelce pushed him and did some other stuff, whatever, flag on the other guy. Props to Kelce for drawing the penalties, but he was tantalizing, and I thought he could have got called on a couple, but it is what it is. So obviously, epic collapse by Baltimore. Congrats to Kansas City. They are back in the Super Bowl, repeat years. We'll say what's up to Mel and Jim real quick, and I think game of the week for sure. Potentially the game of the entire playoffs so far. San Francisco and Detroit. I'm going to kick it over to you first because I took the last one. So give me your thoughts on that game.
Well, it was a game that, you kind of sit back and you knew that, I mean, McCaffrey's a beast, man. I just admire that guy. And I really liked how San Francisco kind of came around Brock Purdy and kind of held him up a little bit and saying, hey, he's our guy. Talk about getting behind your guy who's probably shriveling, right? I mean, I can't imagine what that guy was going through to be that young and in that kind of environment. But great job on them. I mean, they came out. Detroit made some really costly calls, and you got it. You know, I think the world of Detroit, man. They got so much talent on that team with great receivers to go along with. I mean, Jared Goff was a guy they threw away, and he dealt it all year long. And so to have a throwaway guy like that, and you're right in the hunt. I mean, right on. And I mean, Debo looked healthy. Kind of surprising about that after his shoulder, you know. But kudos to San Francisco's secondary, man. They excuse me, not really shut them down, but really had them taking a look at it, saying, "Wow, can we do this? Can we not do that?" Just the whole going for it on fourth down when everybody was like, "Why are you kicking a field goal?" I'm sure Dan Campbell's kicking himself in the butt right now, saying, "What if? What if?" I mean, it looked like that game was getting out of control, and then to have them come back, make it definitely something you don't want to get up and get popcorn late in the game to. But I mean, it was back and forth. I mean, I actually liked the Kansas City game a little bit better just because I'm not a big Baltimore fan. So I like the butt kicking that Mahomes did. You got to ask yourself, is Mahomes the new Brady of this generation? I mean, 6 times, been to the conference championship. I mean, come on. I mean, the guy is just, he's once, a generational type quarterback. So, San Francisco's got the full squad. Kansas City's, going to have, the right pieces in the right places. But, it's going to make for an interesting game. I, again, thought CMC was just doing whatever he wanted to do. I mean, he was running guys over. He was taking on some pretty hard hits by Detroit. But it gets down to special teams. You got to win 2 out of 3, they say, to win the game, don't you?
Yep, that's true. All right, I'm going to say hi to SJ because I did not forget you, SJ. Did not forget you. I see you.
Hey, SJ.
How's it going? But, yeah, so this game for me, right, tale of 2 halves, 2 very, very different halves. Right, Detroit looked absolutely unstoppable in the first half. Unstoppable. And one of the things that I truly did not understand was I know Dan Campbell, gambling guy, right? With the fourth downs, he's one of the most aggressive coaches in the NFL. I get that. I didn't understand, and I was texting. I don't know if I was texting you or I was texting like my dad or my cousin or somebody, but I don't understand at the end of the first half why when you have 4th and 2 on the goal line, basically, right? End of the first half, you decide to kick the field goal there, right? So I was like, okay, interesting choice, right? You go up, you're up 3 scores, okay, fine, all well and good. Confused me, though, as to why the most aggressive guy is going to kick a field goal there, right? But then he's going to go for it when he's up later in the game. And there's a lot of guys talking back and forth, well, 3 scores at halftime is different than 3 scores in, the third quarter. And I'm sitting here, you're making my point for me, right? 3 scores with 6 minutes left in the third quarter. That's pretty hard to come back from. And your defense hasn't stopped them the entire second half, right? So why I know Badgley's not the best kicker, right? I'm not saying he's a great kicker or anything, but why didn't you decide to kick a field goal there? I get you're aggressive and all, but it's definitely something that they have to think about. I was texting you. I said I wouldn't be shocked if they fired him after this game for that. But that's who Dan Campbell is, right? And love Dan Campbell as a coach. I'm just floored at how you want to be conservative when you have the 3-score lead and you could potentially make it a 4-score game going into the half. But then when you can't stop San Francisco, now you're going to just give them points basically because you're not going to take the free field goal you had. And I'm not talking like these are like, 55, 60 yarders. I mean, we're talking like, high 30, mid 40-yard field goals. Again, Badgley's not the best field goal kicker, but I mean, come on now. These are pretty automatic field goals, right? The weather was fine. Not like you were kicking in rain or wind or anything. So Very, very interesting. Joe asked the question: Do you think Campbell will ever take points off the board like he did? Um, I think he's done it a lot all year. To be honest with you, he's been very, very aggressive. He's gone for pretty much every fourth and short that they've had. Um, I just don't like him doing it in the situation that he did it in when, you could cement the game away and he doesn't. And then when the game seems to be getting closer, then he's getting riskier. It didn't make a ton of sense to me. Obviously, if it worked and, they scored touchdowns, we'd be talking a different story here. But, I guess you make your choices and you live with those choices.
I mean, you're 100% right. He's been doing it all year, and that's the reason why his team rallies around him. When it comes to game time, they think that they're going to make it if it's 2 yards and under. But how much, who's his analytics guy? Whoever his analytics guy better give him the right kind of information, because everybody's questioning that before it was even done, right? And so, but I agree with you. You kick it 4th and 2. Why don't you go for it there and then come back? It's basically the same type of problem. But to really gack a 17-point lead, well, that's got to be, you're exactly right. I mean, I don't know what Shanahan did at halftime and, what kind of juice he gave everybody. But, boy, it was a different team, it seemed like. Brock Purdy stepping up in the pocket a couple of times, making some good throws, where even the week before against Green Bay, those were sailing, right? So, I mean, give the kid credit. I mean, he played a good game, but the question is, did San Francisco win that game or did Detroit lose that game?
And that's the key question, right? And I mean, you can vouch for this one, all right? And I'll say it. I'm not afraid to say it. I was calling for Andy Dalton to come in the game because of how Brock Purdy looked in the first half. No lie. I can show you the text if people want to see it. They don't believe it. I was saying that Andy Dalton should come in to give him a spark or something because their offense did not look very good. But
you said that to me.
Firmly, yep, I am firmly in the camp, and SJ agrees. I think Detroit lost that game more than San Francisco won that game. And the reason being, again, we already talked about the Dan Campbell gambling with the 4th downs and stuff, right? I think they're boneheaded mistakes. Okay, I really do. I don't like the whole going forward on 4th down. The analytics are a bunch of bullshit, if you ask me, right? And the analytics are this. There's a difference between it being the regular season and an NFC championship game, right? You can't tell me that if you're looking at the analytics properly for a regular season game, go for it, whatever, right? You lose the game, okay, not great. You may affect your playoff standings or whatever, but it's a regular season game. This is the NFC championship we're talking about here. Not week 6, right? So I'm firmly believing Detroit lost that game because the other thing for me too is they were rolling so well in that first half. And I know Detroit isn't the team to get cocky and think they have this game in the bag because San Francisco is a very talented team. But their offense couldn't get anything going in the second half. They looked terrible. I don't know what happened. It's similar to the Baltimore situation, right? Baltimore abandoned the run. Detroit abandoned their first half offense. I mean, David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs were averaging like 5 yards a clip minimum, right? They were opening up passing routes for Laporta, for Amon-Ra St. Brown, not for Josh Reynolds because that dude dropped I don't know how many balls and pissed me the hell off, but that's beside the point. But I don't know what they were thinking and what they were doing, and I don't agree with the plays that were called on those 4th down plays. So I think Detroit lost that game. Props to San Francisco for having the drive and determination to come back from 17 down at the half and win that game. I mean, they were up 10 late in the 4th quarter, right? It's not like they squeaked that one out. They were up 10 points. So you're talking a 27-point swing there. So, props to them. Brock Purdy played very, very well. Made me eat my words on the Andy Dalton stuff. McCaffrey's a stud. We know it. We know what he's going to do. And Detroit or San Francisco's defense really stepped up. But I do think Detroit lost that game for themselves. I do not think San Francisco won that game. I think Detroit lost it. Now, I'm not complaining. That was a very, very lucrative game for yours truly. Because I told you guys 2 weeks ago that I had the Lions on the money line and I had the Lions plus 7.5. At the half, I bet the 49ers to win the game outright at like plus 310. So I was sitting pretty regardless, didn't care what really happened. I was actually hoping the 49ers won at the end because it would have paid me better. But if they would have not covered the spread, which they ended up not doing thanks to a late touchdown from Jamison Williams. But Detroit lost that game.
Yeah. I think they were just out-coached the second half. I mean, Shanahan pains me to
100%.
say it, but that guy's a good coach, knows how to motivate people and get things going. They've put a solid team together. Now I think their team's starting to get a little older. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens with them with salary cap. But as long as you got Brock Purdy at making league minimum as a Mr. Irrelevant, you can afford to pay McCaffrey, and how lucky is that? So, but it sets up for a good game. I think this is the game matchup that people want to see. So, Detroit next year, hey, I hope you guys bring him back again. I'd love to see him in there again. I think the whole Goff story is a great story. Stafford got his Super Bowl, right? Yeah, you did. But, Goff's about ready to get paid now. So, and he's a lot younger than Stafford. So.
Yep. 100%. All right, let's get into the game. The game of the NFL season, really. Super Bowl, what everybody wants to hear about and talk about. I think these are two teams, that deserve it. They made their way in. Very interesting that I don't know if anybody who's watching with the controversy with the colors of the logos. There is no controversy anymore. All right. The Ravens and the 49ers did not win. So we don't have the red and purple controversy anymore. Now we just have red on red controversy. San Francisco 49ers and the Chiefs. All right. There's a lot of interesting things going on in this game. So we have obviously the game in Vegas, right? We started off talking about that. 49ers are 2.5-point favorites. Over under is 47.5 right now. And for anybody who lives under a rock, the game is at 6:30 on CBS this upcoming Sunday. So, Ian, before we talk about the actual game here, what are you most looking forward to about this game?
Well, Usher's making a comeback. Reba McEntire singing the national anthem. No, just kidding. So, no, I'm excited about this game because I think we got two really deserving teams to be in there. 49ers, except for that 3 to 4 week run about halfway through the season when everybody was beat up, they pretty much, dominated the NFC. Then you get the Chiefs on the other side. You can never count out. Patty Mahomes does it with guys that probably wouldn't make any other team, but they have to have receivers on there to be able to get it up and going. So, I'm really excited to see Mahomes and Kelsey. There's a lot of talk that Kelsey might ride off in the sunset, go do his, I don't know if you saw him on Saturday Night Live, but the guy's got a lot of character. And, they got the #1 podcast. He could go do a ton of stuff if he wants to. Now, does he want to? I don't know. He says he wants to play for a few more years. And Patty's like, yeah, I would make sure he plays for a few more years. And then on the other side,
literally,
yeah, exactly. He's good as long as there. So, I think on the other side, you're looking at probably the most well-balanced team in the 49ers across the board. Whether it's receiving, running back. Now, obviously, they do not win the head-to-head matchup between quarterbacks. But, you look at, if you look at the receiving core, you have to go with, and the running game, you have to go with San Francisco. Now, the kicking game, the San Francisco guy, I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now, but he's missed a bunch of them lately. I had a fantasy, so that's a scary thing right there. That game is close as, Vegas is never usually off. If they are, not by much. And so if that's the case, man, this might come down to a late field goal. So I think CMC is going to run the ball. I think he's going to keep telling, that swing pattern out of the backfield with him, when you get him running, man, that's dangerous. That guy, for a guy that only weighs 205 pounds, well, he just picks him up. And remember when he came out of Stanford, everybody complained, said, body will never hold up. Body will never held up. And then he had a couple runs where he pretty much didn't play at all. But now look at him. The guy is just a beast coming through there. So it should be interesting to see Kittle. Hey, Kittle's solid. Warner at linebacker. I mean, that guy's right up there with Bobby Wagner in his prime, and so it's going to be interesting to see. I think this is going to be the game where I actually spend more time watching the game than eating and drinking and, talking with people. One, I won't be in Vegas this year, so that'll be a little bit different. No running out in the middle of the hall to make bets, which is always nice. But, in Phoenix, I can use an app, so it's going to be interesting. I've never done the app betting before, so I'm excited. Really am.
I already know you're going to be sitting in Bottled Blonde in downtown Scottsdale, watching the game and having a good time. What's up, Ryan? How are you? Yeah, so this game, I'm truly looking forward to this game, right? Because Chiefs are back in the Super Bowl, right? I'm not the biggest Chiefs fan. I really am not, right? They beat my Eagles last year, but I'm just not a big Chiefs fan in general. They have it, right? They showed all year long what's going on. They went through the ups and downs. They find a way to win, right? Champions find a way to win. That's how it is. 49ers are the best team in the NFL on paper by far. I don't care what anybody says. You can debate me until the cows come home on that one. There's not a single NFL roster that is as stacked as the 49ers roster. It's not even remotely close. Like you said, right? Both sides of the ball. The only thing that they really struggle at, but he shows up sometimes, Brock Purdy, right? Quarterback wise, that's where I, say that they're shaky at. But he got it done. He's got a cast around him that can help him and lift him into that moment to get it done, right? When you're not throwing the ball well and you have CMC behind you, I mean, have no fear. Have no fear. CMC is going to run right through people, right? Love me some CMC, right? Love me some CMC. I just love the 49ers team in general. I think they're a great group of guys. Everybody's making a big deal about the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce thing. I don't know if anybody understands the wives and girlfriends of the 49ers. All right. I think that is way more captivating than the Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift bullshit that's going on. But be that as it may, did you know there's a line that Taylor Kelce's going to propose after the game? There's a line on the sports book. Who's going to get a ring first, Taylor Swift or the 49ers?
Yeah. It's
It
Vegas. You can bet on anything in Vegas. Just
you can literally bet on anything. And before we get into our full analysis of this matchup, I'm going to go over two things because we're talking about betting. All right. If you can bet on this, I love this bet. If you can bet on it, it is the flyover and over 4.5 Jets in the flyover. Okay. Love that bet if you can find it. It's not on many books. I am still looking for a book that is legal that I can bet it. I have not found it. I know it is on quite a few books. Over 4.5 Jets in the flyover. Okay. That's one of my favorite bets of the game. Now, please take this with a grain of salt, okay? These stupid prop bets are not like actual, hammer bets. You throw a little bit of pocket change on them and, hope they have some
$10
fun.
bet on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm not talking about betting your mortgage on this one. All right. We'll talk about some of those bets later. But and I'm not giving you financial advice because you don't want that from me. But over 4.5 Jets, love that one. And then there's another one. Who's going to be shown first, Brock Purdy or Patrick Mahomes during the national anthem? If anybody's betting on Brock Purdy, you're out of your mind. Patty Mahomes is Mr. NFL. He's going to be shown first. Okay. The line is a gift. I think it's like minus 170. I don't like juicy plays like that, but for something like that, I mean, I'd hit that hard. I probably will hit that pretty hard. He's literally the face of the NFL right now. So those are my two kind of bullshit bets from the beginning. All right, the game. I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna tell you who's gonna win and who is getting that ring. So, Ian, would you like to go first, or would you like me to give my analysis?
I'll go first since I picked the right one last week. So
Yeah,
well,
yeah. Rub that one in. You've picked
no,
more right than me all season long. We know.
exactly. Well, you get down to this game. I think it's going to be a defensive battle. I think it's going to be, a tight end driven on both sides of the ball. Work in the middle of the field. I think that in this case, I think when you go back and you really look at the offensive teams, not the defense side of the bubble, let's take a look at the offense. Offense for the 49ers are stacked. They've got, receivers that come out of the backfield. You got great tight end. You've got, Ayuk that could make catches like you can't believe, right? Probably the catch of the year. And so when I look at the 49ers, I just think that there's so many things that are, popping off for the 49ers. I think if anybody's got that attention to detail on his coaching staff, man, it's Andy Reid. I mean, Andy Reid thinks of things that there are a lot of other guys that won't do. And I think when you look at, probably, like I said earlier tonight, the best quarterback of our generation right now is Patty Mahomes. I mean, he's doing like the stuff that Jim Kelly did. I mean, he can walk away from the NFL probably tomorrow and probably still get into the Hall of Fame. I mean, the guy does things that a lot of people just don't understand. Now, if he stays healthy and he don't get hurt, I mean, there's a lot of guys trying to roll up on his ankles I saw last weekend. And that's one of his Achilles heels is his ankles getting squished. But I think this is going to come down to, yeah, exactly. I think this is going to come down to the Kelsey Mahomes show. I think, there's going to be so much emphasis on Kelsey to get stuff done that hopefully it'll open up Rice up a little bit on the outside. But I really think I'm going to take, with my pick, I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs here. I think this is, for those of you that are conspiracy theorists, that they all think that this has already been pre-written. I know SJ or somebody was saying that. My brother called me today and was telling me the same thing. It's like, come on, this is already a done deal. Why do you think, it was kind of an awkward kiss that they had on the field after they won. Yeah, everybody's like, yeah, she really didn't want to kiss him. You could tell. And I was like, man, you guys are reading into stuff. Who cares? I don't care that they date. I really don't. But I think this is going to come down to, Kansas City and Mahomes just willing this to happen for them. So now the money line's only at $1.10. That's what I saw today, Chris. Is that what you're seeing right now too? The money line at $1.10.
Yep, current line right now.
Yeah, for $10, if it was $1.25, I probably would take the money line. But for only $1.10 versus $1, I'm going to take the extra 2.5 points, and I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs.
Just so you know, Ryan agrees with you that the script is already written with the Taylor Swift
For
stuff.
sure, Brian. Classic.
So we want to talk about the script. Okay, let's talk about the script real quick. So very interesting here, and you guys are gonna think I'm an absolute nut because I am. So Taylor Swift's what's her favorite number, Ian? Do you know what Taylor Swift's favorite number is?
No, I have no clue.
Okay. It's
87?
13. No, 13.
Okay.
Now what's 100 minus 13?
Oh, 87. There you go.
What's Travis Kelce's number?
87.
87. The 49ers are the 1 seed. The Chiefs are the 3 seed. Put the 1 and the 3 together. What do you have? 13. This this has too much into it. All right. Now I read very deep into that. All right. Don't actually take that as serious advice. But there's even more if you want me to go into more of it. But um, hey, listen, here's what it's going to come down to. Okay. And the players on the field are one thing. The coaches are what this is going to come down to. Um, the 49ers will not be able to do what they did last week against the Chiefs. The Chiefs coaching staff will not let that happen. Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo will absolutely not let that happen. So this game is going to come down to, can the 49ers come out hot? They haven't come out hot in a single game in the past 5 weeks yet, right? Chiefs been playing well. I mean, I can give you the numbers, right? I'll give them to everybody real quick if people want them. The Chiefs offensively, 9th overall offensively, 6th best passing, 19th best rushing, averaging 21.8 points per game. 49ers, 2nd overall offense, right? Best team on paper. 4th passing, 3rd rushing. They're averaging 28 points per game. All well and good. Chiefs have the 2nd overall defense, believe it or not. 4th against the pass, 17th against the rush, which is where the 49ers are really going to have to dominate if they want to even have a chance. Right? CMC can run against that defense, but the Chiefs' rushing defense has looked not so good, right? Allen and Cook ran all over them. Baltimore abandoned the game plan to even try to run all over them, so it is what it is. 49ers defensively, their passing defense is not great. Their rush defense is pretty good. 3rd overall. Passing defense is 14th overall. Here's what this is going to come down to, right? I already said it. It's going to come down to coaching. This game is going to be revolving around 2 players, okay? Christian McCaffrey is one of them. Patty Mahomes is the other one. These 2 guys are going to have to put the teams on their back. The reason I say Christian McCaffrey is because Brock Purdy is going to struggle. Okay, he's going to struggle. He struggles every single game in a big moment. Early on in the game, he looks like a deer in headlights. Did it last week, right? He did it the week before against the Packers. He did not look very good. They squeaked the game out, but he did not look very good. Go back to last year's playoffs. I know he got knocked out of the game pretty quickly against the Eagles. He looked like dog shit before he got knocked out. All right, the Eagles probably did him a favor by knocking him out of the game. I'll be honest with you. They did. Okay? McCaffrey is going to have to put the team on his back. Will Brock Purdy be able to step up when that Chiefs D-line starts stopping McCaffrey? That is the question. For the Chiefs, okay, Kelsey is going to be taken away, right? He's still going to get his, but he's going to be taken away. They are going to say, beat me with anybody but Kelsey. Warner is going to be on Kelsey. Armstead might be helping on Kelsey, and you might have a corner on Kelsey as well. Kelsey, look for Kelsey to be triple covered, okay? Triple covered. I'm not talking double. I'm talking triple covered. Rashee Rice is going to have a game. MVS is going to have a game. But I'm in agreement with you. The Chiefs are going to win this game. All right, 49ers are a better team on paper. Chiefs are the better team with the eye test and with the pedigree. Their coaching is superior. Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo. Patty Mahomes finds a way to get it done, right? He really, really does. And I fully anticipate the Chiefs to come out firing quick. I think the 49ers are going to struggle, and the game will be done and dusted right then and there because the Chiefs will not let the 49ers back in the game like the Lions did. I like the Chiefs outright in this game. I'm with you. The line, to me, I'll take the 2.5 with the line the way it is because it's, minus 110 for the 2.5, plus 110 for the money line. I'll take the points just to be a little bit safer. The 20 cents doesn't really matter to me that much, right? I like the 49ers. I like the Chiefs to win this game. I like the over in this game, believe it or not. For people who want to know stats on the over, in the last 57 Super Bowls, the over is 28, 28, and 1.
Yeah.
There's no edge, right? It's over. The over-under is literally 28, 28, and 1 in the last 57 Super Bowls. So it's a dead even tie. I like the over in this game for the reason being that I think the Chiefs are going to come out hot. I think they will score pretty quickly. And I think that the 49ers will get some points later on, but they're not going to be able to get enough points because, again, that Chiefs defense will stop them. I see the Chiefs winning this game. I think it will be relatively close in the end, but I think the Chiefs cover the spread, and I do think they win outright.
Yeah, the only way I would touch the over/under on that right now on that is if I'm parlaying it with something else, whether it's the, the money line on the Chiefs or something. I mean, I would not just
Yeah.
take that bet just outright because there's just too many, variables in that. So if I was going to do that, it would be in a 2 or 3 parlay deal only, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little.
I don't mind a teaser there either, right? Tease
Yeah.
the over 41.5 with the Chiefs at plus 8.5.
Yeah.
Not shabby. Not shabby.
That's the way you got to look at those too. Make sure you're looking at those. So, but I think, when it gets down to it, I agree with you. I mean, a lot of pressure going to be put on Brock Purdy. Not only that, but you're talking about the defensive backs from Kansas City. They're ball hawkers, man. If that kid sails the ball like he's been doing lately, don't get me wrong. I mean, they're in the Super Bowl for a reason. It's Brock Purdy's getting them there. He's the ultimate game manager. It's a lot like Russell Wilson when we won the Super Bowl in 2013. Russ was just a game manager. It wasn't anything spectacular as a rookie, but there was so much. I mean, we had Marshawn Lynch. You got CMC. You know what I mean? So I think you're going to see a lot of misdirection by San Francisco, trying to free up either having Deebo Samuel take a sweep out to the side, trying to quick toss that way to him or whatever. They're going to have to do something to get it in that middle tier section. But again, Kansas City's just one of those ones where I think this is just Kansas City's year. I think, the stars are aligning, so much focus on them and Patty Mahomes and Kelsey and all those guys, and I'm not saying I'm anti-Chiefs at all. I do like Patty Mahomes. John Schneider, the guy here, wanted to trade Russell Wilson so they could draft him. So obviously that was Russell in his prime. So, I mean, I think when we look at this, can you triple cover Kelsey? I mean, you brought up a good point. Not only are they going to double, but triple cover. Then if you do, who steps up? Is it Rice? Is it Pacheco coming out of the backfield? I mean, that kid runs so hard for a guy. What is he? He can't weigh over 2 bills, can he? I mean, he looks like a tiny little guy, but runs like he's like 260. But there's some really good prop bets this year. I mean, as I'm looking through them and trying to figure out what I'm going to bet on when I'm down there, I always bet like who's going to score the first touchdown. What's the coin flip going to be like?
Yeah.
Do a bunch of like single parlays. So, what I mean? I think there's some good ones. I think Deebo Samuel over 14.5. I don't know. I kind of like that because I think he's going to run the ball like he's done a couple times, and then just the outcast. If something happens to CMC, Deebo Samuel goes in the backfield. I mean, I would take him over. Who's the backup there? It's not Wilson. Who's the backup? Can't remember off the top of my head. He's ran a couple times.
Mitchell?
I can't remember. He scored a touchdown last week. Mitchell.
Is
that who it is?
Yeah. Yeah. Pacheco weighs 216 pounds, believe it or not.
Does he really? CMC weighs 205, and he looks like he's 15 pounds heavier. Wow.
Yeah, SJ just put it in chat, and I pulled it up on my computer here. Yeah, 216, and he's like 5'10" or something. They have him listed at. I don't go by the height. The height that they claim online is usually given a couple inches. The either AI show or Al show here put up 49ers' only problem will be if they don't score a touchdown in the first half. They can't score in the first half. They might lose the game. And then there was another one with the Chiefs will try to jump to an early lead. If so, they're going to lose the Super Bowl. I'd say I disagree with that wholeheartedly. I think if they jump to an early lead, you're not going to see them give up the lead. I think the 49ers are going to score in the first half. The problem is that how much will they score? right? If you look at their stats the past few weeks, they have not been
Yeah.
scoring well in the first half. And the thing is, the Green Bay defense was not that good, let them back in the game, and they barely squeaked that one out. Again, I think Detroit lost the game for themselves. And the Chiefs are not going to lose the game for themselves. The Chiefs find ways to win. They don't find the ways to lose the game. That's for sure. So should be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to this game a lot. Yeah, you said there's some good props. There's definitely some good props in this game. Um, I like the rushing one. That was a little snipe that you came up with there with the Debo over 14.5 rushing yards. I do like that one.
I
Um,
like. I mean,
McCaffrey's.
my
Go
lock and
ahead.
load is going to be Kittle's over 3.5. The last time these guys played in Week 7 of 2022, Kittle's had 9 looks had 6 catches for 98 yards and a score. And then
Mm-hmm.
he's averaged 4 catches per game during the regular season this year. I mean, I think and then also if you want to really be brave about it, go ahead and parlay it with his yards, which is like 47.5, isn't it, Chris? I don't know off the top of my head. I don't have it up.
Yeah, 40. I think it's 40, 47.5.
Yeah.
Actually, it's up to 49.5 now.
Is it? See, it was 47.5 when it opened. And I mean, that's when I was looking at it, and I was like, oh man, that's.
Yep.
I mean, I even told you. I mean, that's the bet I wanted to take right there. So.
One of my, what one of my favorite player props is in this game? People are going to think I'm out of my mind. Justin Watson over 1.5 catches. Plus 110 on the sports book. I love it. I love that. Why? I already told you they are going to double and triple cover Kelsey, right? Who does Patrick Mahomes trust the most? It's his tight ends.
Yeah.
His receivers have shown they don't show up when it matters, right? Noah Gray's line is over 1.5 catches as well. I like Justin Watson though, over 1.5. I'll take the plus 110 on that, over 1.5 catches. Because again, I think you're going to see a lot of 2 tight end sets out of the Chiefs. I think they're going to run a lot of little like bubble passes to the tight ends. And again, if you're triple covering Kelsey or even double covering them, someone else is going to be open. And Mahomes loves his tight ends. He's always looking over the middle of the field. When it comes to crunch time, right? When he needs to get the yards that he needs to get for maybe a first down or to get them to field goal range, he's always looking at the tight ends first. So I
Yeah.
like Justin Watson over 1.5 catches. I think that line is beauteous. Beauteous, if you ask me.
Well, I
Other
kind
some
of like the one for Brandon Ayuk. It's what is it? Is it
4.5.
62.5?
Oh,
One line has
yards 63 and a
yeah
half.
60. It's up to 63.5 now. Yeah. So I mean, I'm looking at the under on this. I mean, it's the I was reading somewhere that they were talking about his prop bet was season high at 76. Last week, which his number was 68, but he's gone under his reception and receiving the last 2 playoff games. So, I mean, I didn't see much of Ayuk that would really stand out considering, I mean, he was held by many of being a top 20 receiver, but you surely don't see that. I mean, I'm not. Maybe you are. I don't.
No.
I mean, I see
No,
more out
I
of
mean,
Ryan
listen.
than Ayuk.
Listen, Ayuk's why did Ayuk go over yards last week? Because he got lucky on that
Yeah.
helmet, on that catch
Yeah.
off the face mask. That's why, right?
Ball should have been picked. Yeah. Yeah.
That was like a what, a 50-something, 60-yard completion, something like that.
Yeah.
That's the reason he went over in yards. Otherwise, he was non-existent all game.
Yep.
He had a couple catches, but I mean, not for anything
Yeah.
useful. That catch off the face mask, again, that was a huge momentum swing in the game. And, he caught the ball. He went over his yards. I like the under on that. I don't bet unders because life's too short to bet unders, in my opinion. But I like the under on that one quite a bit. A little bit of a snipe there from you. I like that one. What else? MVP talk. MVP talk. Who do you think the MVP is going to be?
There you go. Me?
Yep.
You got to put a bow around this whole thing. I think it's going to be Kelsey. I think it's going to be somebody that's going to shock it all. He's going to have a great game. He's going to score a touchdown, and then he's going to because he might ride off into the sunset, right? Just make it this Cinderella story. You can't run this all year and then have the pumpkin turn in at the end, can you? I think this is
No, you can't.
scripted for
And
the made for viewing on Disney next year, right? So I'm saying
literally,
Kelsey.
and
At
he's
700.
plus 1,400 on FanDuel.
Is it 1,400? Oh, wow. Yeah.
Plus
I mean,
1,400 on FanDuel.
throw 100 down on that one for me, dude. Jeez. I mean,
Because
that's what it's going to be. It's going to be, that whole storybook, hey, we do it all, I mean, Mahomes is the easy one if they win, or even Brock Purdy. I think, what's Brock Purdy? He's like plus 400 or something like that. I mean, do we really think if they win, Brock Purdy's going to be the MVP? No way. It'll be either a defensive
Christian
guy
McCaffrey will be the MVP.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ian and I, for disclosure purposes, we're chatting about this in before we went live, obviously. I said that I would love to see Christian McCaffrey win the MVP. The problem is the MVP comes from the winning team 99.9% of the time, right? They're not going to give the MVP to the team that didn't win. So with that being said, I said Kansas City is going to win this game, so that takes Christian McCaffrey off my MVP list. I love him for the MVP because you're right. Brock Purdy is not winning the MVP. If the 49ers win that game, Christian McCaffrey's winning the MVP, right? So as a slight hedge to my Chiefs pick, I might sprinkle a touch on CMC to win, but told you it was coming from the winning team, and I firmly thought you were going to take Patty Mahomes the MVP, and I was going to sprinkle in the Kelsey chatter for MVP. I think it's hard to justify. I think it's hard to justify not having the quarterback win MVP if you're going to give it to one of the wide receivers. Truly, in my opinion, it's tough to justify it. However, the script is there for it. And at plus 1,400, shit, it's worth a sprinkle.
Yeah. Yeah. I also like on a prop bet, I think Pacheco's going to have over 66 yards rushing. I think they're going to try to give him the ball, kind of just, Andy Reid likes to take care of the ball, right? And I don't think Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I mean, his over-under is 6.5 yards. That guy was a first-round draft pick, remember, in 2020?
Yep.
And now he's like, the betting lines that we're seeing from guys that were like, yeah, and take the under at 6.5 yards. I'm like, oh, my stars, man. Jeez. And watch Brock Purdy at 12.5, too. So if you're looking for something to take a flyer on, I mean, he ran the ball pretty well last week on 2 good runs. I think they were both over 12 yards.
I'm going to see Chris Jones coming at him and cry.
I'd get up and run if that guy was running at me. You know what I mean?
No,
scare the heck out of me.
One thing going back to what you said about the yards for Debo on the rush, his rushing attempts is over 2.5 rushing attempts. Like that line there a little bit as well. For Debo with the rushing attempts. I like Pacheco's over 15.5 rushing attempts as well. I think Pacheco is going to be heavily involved in the run game there, clearly. And over 15.5 attempts is decent because that front line for the Niners is good. So he might get held back a little bit, but I think they are going to run the ball, especially if they're leading. You're going to see them run the ball. Obviously, they're going to pass the ball as well. But I think the Chiefs with a lead is dangerous, right? If the Chiefs get out to a lead, they don't relinquish the lead. Very, very tough for them to relinquish the lead. And when they are down, they are very, very quick to get back into the game. So I don't know. I think because AI show put up with they can do this successfully, Chiefs, and score enough points to edge out the Chiefs, and the 49ers will win. The Chiefs stop the run in the second half and keep up a decent pass rush. KC wins. Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, more points means you win the game. Um, here's the
Hey,
here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. I mean, they can. Christian McCaffrey's going to get his no matter what. If it's in the first half, it's in the second half. It doesn't really matter. What it's going to matter and come down to is how far are they down and how much time do they have to come back. And also, the Chiefs will zero in on Christian McCaffrey. They're going to make Brock Purdy beat them, right? Listen, Steve Spagnuolo is a genius as a defensive mind. He's not going to let Christian McCaffrey beat them. Again, McCaffrey's going to get his, but he's not going to let him beat him. He's going to make Brock Purdy beat them. And I'm going to take Kansas City defense over Brock Purdy trying to beat the Kansas City defense.
listen to this. I just looked up a stat. Look, this is how bad Kansas City gives up. Can't stop quarterbacks from rushing over the last couple of weeks. They gave up 72 yards to Josh Allen, 54 yards to Lamar Jackson, and 25 yards to Tua. Tua's a statue, man. The guy don't move in the box. You know?
Yeah, you're not
If that
wrong.
guy got 25 yards, 12 and a half, man, I'm going to tell Jen, you better make that bet.
She can make that bet. She can. I'm not
Oh,
saying
yeah.
it's a bad bet.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I'm just saying. I was reading that. I can't believe they gave up that many yards to the quarterback. I mean, that's, geez, almost 150 yards rushing in to quarterbacks in 3 games. Oof.
well, here's the thing, though, right? We're talking. I know Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are very mobile quarterbacks. Chiefs blitz a hell of a lot, right? They blitz. They're one of
Yeah.
the most blitz-heavy defenses in the league. So if you have a mobile quarterback who can avoid a sack, there's no one there in the second level, right? So you're getting 10, 15 yards a clip
Yeah.
easily until that secondary steps up to make the tackle. Tua, yeah, I don't know how he got that many yards. I'll be honest with you, I have no idea. Um, well, interested to see if Brock Purdy can do it. I don't know. I would not bet on him to run the ball.
What
But hell, he might. I was telling Jen in text
what do you
the
think?
problem with that
What do you think
line.
about Debo?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you're right. Debo, what?
I was going to say, what do you think about Debo scoring a touchdown at plus 160?
Yeah, we haven't talked about touchdown scorers. Let's
Did you
talk
hear
about that.
that?
All right, Debo,
Debo plus
Debo, not a
160
bad
for a
line.
touchdown?
Yep,
Let's
I
do it.
like that. I like Kelsey to score a touchdown for the script. Right, he's plus 100. Score a touchdown.
Yeah.
But I'm with these touchdown props. Right, I mean McCaffrey to score a touchdown minus 230, whatever. Right, he's minus 300 every week to score a touchdown. This is actually a discount, believe it or not, at minus 230 to score a touchdown. Um, I really like some of these like guys down at the bottom here, right? You throw a couple bucks on them and you hope, right? I'd rather hit 3 of these guys. Like let's say I plan on betting, I don't know, $100 on touchdown scorers, right? I'd rather instead of betting $100 on like a Pacheco to score a touchdown or something like that, I'd rather throw like $30 on Justin Watson to score a touchdown, $30 on like Noah Gray to score a touchdown, and believe it or not, Kadarius Toney. All right, the Chiefs have zero faith in this man. Zero
Is
faith in
he
this
even
man.
active? He wasn't even active for the last game.
He wasn't because they benched him. Did you
Yeah.
saw that whole press conference? They came out saying there's some family issue or some shit, and then he came out saying I don't have any family issues. They just
I don't
benched
have
him.
any problems. Yeah.
Yeah, but those guys might be worth a sprinkle. Again, I like Debo. The problem, again, I don't think the 49ers are going to be able to put up as many points as people think they're going to. They will put up points, but who's going to score? I like Kittle quite a bit there over Samuel, but Debo's worth a little sprinkle. Um, but I really like the tight ends, like Justin Watson to score a touchdown, Noah Gray to score a touchdown, things like that. Because again, that's who Mahomes is looking to when they're in the red zone, right? Yes, the explosive plays could come from Rashid Rice. Um, I don't know, just Patty Mahomes and his tight ends. That's where he lives, right? He doesn't have a Tyreek Hill
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is gonna be a good game. I'm looking forward to it.
For sure. I I think it's going to be, one of those games where you definitely want to watch the first half. Don't be late because that game might be over at
Yeah,
halftime
don't be late.
things go, crazy. Exactly.
And how they've been going.
I thought that was pretty cool that Eric Bieniemy showed up. Yeah. Yeah. Did you hear that Bieniemy showed up for a team meeting and kind of help guys out with some ideas before the AFC Championship game? I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, like, the thing is, right, just Kansas City's coaching staff, right? They're just too good. And the respect is there in the locker room. And again, the script is there for the NFL. If people want to say it's scripted, it's not scripted, you can debate that 15 different ways. This game is going to be the Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift show, right? I mean, they even have lines on how many times they're going to show Taylor Swift. It's over under 4.5 in case any of you care. There's a line on will Travis Kelce do his heart celebration. Like, I mean, you can literally bet on everything here, right? You can bet on everything here.
You too.
Yeah, literally.
Could you imagine if he did that in the 60s? Hey, hold up. Could you imagine if he did that in the 60s to like somebody like, Mean Joe Green or something like that? Somebody would have busted that guy in the chops, man.
Yeah, he would have got hit and hit hard for that matter. You want to go down some of the fun props just for shits and giggles?
Oh, let's do it. Well, say hi to Brian. Brian must not be on a cruise today.
Oh,
must
yes.
Be the only time the guy's not on a cruise.
Brian.
What's up, big?
Mr. Holy Roller. All right, let me find some of these. Where are these? There's some just some bullshit props that are worth chit chatting about a little bit, if you ask me. Some people might not think so, but I think they're worth just a little bit of a chatter. I'm trying to find the lines that I was looking at. Hold, please. Oh, they're not there. That's why. Oh.
So if you parlay the Chiefs win and Kelce to score, that's plus 280. That's a pretty good bet, man.
Yeah. All right. Coin toss. Heads or tails?
Oh, heads. I never
heads. Win, yeah, tails never fails. Come on now.
Exactly. I know.
Who wins the coin toss, the 49ers or the Chiefs?
49ers. And they'll defer.
Okay.
Gosh, where was all those funny ones? Because there was like a whole line of just.
Yeah, no. So bets. Like in Pennsylvania, right? In Pennsylvania, I can't bet on the Gatorade color. I mean, I have books that I can bet it if I want to. National anthem was an interesting one. Over under, I think it's 1:26.5 seconds.
I'm going to say the under because Reba's really right down to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I mean, there's I did some research on this. The line where it's at now, she has never hit it in any of her live performances of the national anthem. From what I'm hearing as well in the practices, she has not come close to the line. Doesn't mean that during game time she's going to hold some notes and do some other stuff. Who knows? One word of caution that I will tell people, since this is an educational show, if you are betting on the over-under on national anthem, every single book, there's no standard for recording the time of the national anthem. So make sure when you are going to place that bet, you read the fine details of when they start and when they stop the national anthem. Some books start when the music starts. Some books start when the singer starts. Same thing with the end. Some end on the final note. Some end on the final chord played. So be mindful of that. What else? Let me find some stupid shit to bet on though. Just because we can. Just because we can. They don't have a lot of good lines. Gatorade color is kind of stupid to me. If you
What's
look at
the
the
one
Gatorade
on
color,
us?
lead people down a. I don't want to lead people down a very degenerate path here of betting on stupid football stuff. But there's a lot of interesting options that you could bet if you wanted to out there in the world. All right, so I'm gonna get this off the screen, and we're gonna come back to us chit chatting here because
There we go.
I think we've given a comprehensive overview here. So, Ian, any final thoughts on the Super Bowl, all that kind of stuff?
Now just
Go
sit back
ahead,
and
you Ian.
I mean, it's always kind of a sad, always kind of a sad day. Am I locked? Can you hear me?
You're good. I got you now.
Can you hear
I
me
got you
clearly?
now.
There you go. Okay. It's always kind of a sad day because it's the end of the football season, right? And I'm not a big USFL guy, so I'm not going to watch any of that. Plus, they took the Seattle team away when the Rock bought the other one. So, I'm just going to enjoy a good football game. Try not to get wrapped up into the Taylor Swift stuff. Enjoy a good game. Hopefully the weather's good in Phoenix and get out and hit the links good Sunday morning.
There you go. I'm jealous. Wish I was going to be in Phoenix as well, but I'm not. I will be in my area. I will not give away where it is, but I will be in Degen land. Um, and at Casa del Degen, chefing up some stuff, having a good time. But yes, watch this game. It's going to be a good game. Don't miss parts of it, right? If you got to go to the bathroom, wait for halftime, wait for a commercial. Um, I don't know. People love watching the commercials in this. I could care less what the commercials are during the Super Bowl usually. You got to be out of your mind to pay $7+ million for a 30-second commercial. The commercials used to be good. I used to look forward to
Come
them.
on,
Now, I
man.
mean,
Don't
last
you
year
remember
commercials
the
were a
Doritos
dump.
lady?
Well, yeah, but I feel like in
Don't you
recent
remember the
years, the
girl last
commercials have.
10 years ago?
I feel like the commercials though have been dog crap the past few years. They've been terrible. They've been terrible. Um, Joseph, to answer your question, who is my opinion leading rusher? Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey leading rusher. There's lines for that.
Easily.
There's also there's bets called the Triple
His
Crown.
over under is like
If
nine.
anybody, go ahead.
Yep. Chris, you saw the over under on CMC though, didn't you? It's like 91 or almost something like 90 and a half.
91 and a
It's
half.
the highest it's been for
Mm-hmm.
him all year. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Led with
like McCaffrey
Genie.
to
Yeah.
to hit that over. What I was saying was there's a bet called the Triple Crown for people who are interested. The Triple Crown is you bet basically a three-way parlay on the over or whoever has the most passing yards, receiving yards, and rushing yards in this game. There's all different combinations you can make of it. So if you look for that, You can find it. It's on. Some of them have them made already. Some books you have to make it yourself. But I like McCaffrey for the receipt or the rushing yards. I like, believe it or not, Brock Purdy for the passing yards. I think they're going to have to throw at the end of the game, like Brock. What? Um, the receiving line is where you're going to struggle, I think, to come up with who's going to be the leading receiver in the game.
You're gonna have to get lucky
because it could come down.
You're gonna
Yeah, it could come down to a lot of different things, right? I mean, think about last week, right? Ayuk didn't win it. I think Laporta had the most yards last week. Maybe Amon-Ra St. Brown, one of the two, had the most yards. But like, think about like an Ayuk catch off the helmet that gave him 50 extra yards for no reason. I think your best bet in this game, if you really want to bet that, is to look at some of the nobodies in this game to have the most receiving yards. I would stay away from the Kelseys. I would stay away from the Deebo Samuels in this game, just for the sole reason that they're going to be getting a lot of attention. My 2 cents on the situation. But I do like McCaffrey to have the most rushing yards in this game. Looking forward to the game, though. And Ian and I both are on the Chiefs in this game. Jen is going to watch this back, and she's going to blow up our phones later. I already know it. And be saying how we are haters and how we don't know what we're talking about. Jen, you have our numbers. You can text me anytime.
still waiting for that dance, by the way.
Yeah, literally. I'm still waiting for that dance. But, I don't know. I think the 49ers are going to win this game. Or no. The Chiefs are going to win this game, not the 49ers. But do look for me to hit the 49ers at the half if they are losing a bit at the half, because I will be on the Chiefs. So I will hedge my way out of that one in case, like I did last week and made nice profit. So appreciate everybody being here. Appreciate all the questions, all the chit chats. Ian, safe travels to you, sir, and hope you enjoy watching the game. Hope you have some fantastic rounds of golf in the Phoenix area, and you get to enjoy the Waste Management Open when you do go. And I hope that the casinos in Phoenix are kind to Mr. Double Deuce.
That's it, brother. Let's hope so. Thanks again for having me on this year. I had a blast, man.
Always, I appreciate you coming on and just chatting through these games with me. And again, love everybody in chat who is here with the chitter chatter, with the comments, and you guys are great. All right, enjoy the game. Close of the NFL season. Draft is around the corner. Ian and I will be back for the draft. We'll chit chat about that. Maybe we'll have some kind of round table or something. I don't know. I'll cook up something. But in the meantime, enjoy the game. Enjoy the Taylor Swift extravaganza that's coming. And don't forget, don't bet more than you can afford. Do not bet with money that you can afford to lose. Be sensible if you're going to place bets on this game. And yes, take financial betting advice from a 26-year-old. With that said, love you all. Have a good one.
Peace out.
We are out.